It is time for our weekly Getting Ahead in Business segment, where we're joined by longtime business and marketing and sales coach and consultant and motivational speaker, also newspaper columnist Milton from Getting Ahead in Business joins us now. Milton, good morning. Welcome. It's time for Getting Ahead in Business. How are you?
Oh, beautiful. It's a beautiful day. You know, we got to think in terms of March 8th. We spring ahead with the clock, and then only 23 counting days when spring will be here.
Beautiful. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, so I'm bringing someone on today. You and I know Thomas. He's going to put spring in our feelings. So, good morning, Tom.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Milton. Good morning, Bert.
Hello, Tom. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Tom, we want to talk about, you mentioned to me about the IRS completed their Dirty Dozen tax scams. I know we're not talking about the movie, but I'd like to ask you one of the main questions to get this started. The phone scams. Do clients actually get phone calls from scam artists?
Absolutely. It's one of my clients called last week. He was in a tizzy. He had a client. He had the IRS calling him, supposedly the IRS calling him, saying that if you don't give us some money, we're going to threaten you with arrest, possible deportation, license revocation. Very aggressive, very threatening phone call. And I said to John, you have to relax. This is not the way the IRS works. They don't call you in this manner. Usually you get a letter in the mail of some sort before they actually give you a call. And he keeps going on and says, they're going to arrest me. Now they've said they're going to arrest you. So everybody should really be aware of these phone scams that are happening. It seems to be more and more. It made the top of the list from the IRS 30 dozen tax scams for 2015. So they don't contact you by mail. They usually send you a letter of some sort. So you have to be very careful of these aggressive phone calls from people calling you to try to get your information or try to get money from you.
So in other words, basically we get the letter, then the phone call, or just a letter?
Usually everybody gets a letter first, and that's another thing also. I've had people get letters from the IRS saying they owe some money, and everybody should really check them out before they send the check back to the IRS. Another client got a letter about a month ago, and she was going to just write the check and pay it and be done with it. And I said, no, let me see the letter. I took a look at the letter. We took out her taxes, and they made a mistake. IRS made a mistake in posting the check that she sent to them. Made a phone call. They fixed it. She owed no taxes. So it's that type of thing that happens. So you really have to be careful of these phone calls because that's the number one on the list of people calling and trying to get money out of you.
Well, what about finishing with rod and reel? You know, that expression.
Fishing used to be bird.
I don't fish being a vegetarian, so.
So fishing, what I used to remember fishing was you go down, you get your rod, your reel, you go down to the river, you get some bait, and you try to catch some fish. Now fishing is a whole new meaning. Fishing is where people get online and through emails try to get you to get your password, get your bank account, get your Social Security. These are unsolicited emails that pop up on your emails, and they try to get information out of you to do a fraud. So again, IRS does not contact you by email. I've seen fake IRS emails. I've seen fake bank emails. So you really have to be careful when you click on your computer and looking at your email to make sure that it's not going to take you to a place that could jeopardize your personal financial data.
Okay. Thomas, let me ask you about identity theft. How do we protect our Social Security number, which we read about and listen about it on the radio, the theft?
Well, I understand that some people will, I don't, but some people will carry their Social Security card on themselves or carry a blank check in their wallet. Not a good idea, really not a good idea to do, because you lose your wallet or somebody takes it or you lost it. I mean, there goes your Social Security number. You should also get your credit reports on a regular basis. At least once a year, contact Equifax or TransUnion, and there's a third one out there too, that we could check to see, what's going on with our credit, which could lead to possibly identity theft. I had a number of my own clients. We went to file their tax return, and it was electronically rejected, because someone had stole their Social Security number, used it to file a tax return, probably to get a refund. Client comes along, tries to file, and he can't. So it's a whole process of reporting to the IRS what happened, how it happened, to be able to fix that to where they could get their money back from the IRS. So you got to be really careful about identity theft these days also.
8:37 back on Jersey Central on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Back to our Getting Ahead in Business segment, and let's welcome back Milton Paris and special guest Tom Ploskonka. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Milton.
Tom,
just to recap, we were talking about the IRS 30 dozen problems that people could encounter during this new tax season for the new year. We talked about phone scams, phishing, identity theft, and we're up to tax return preparer fraud. Under return preparer fraud, a number of years ago, I had a couple in the area come to me over 10 years ago, and they would have their return prepared by a preparer that would come down from upstate and rent hotel rooms for a week, and they would schedule appointments for the whole week, and people would come in and they would do their tax return, and they would pick up and go back to another hotel the next week and the next week and the next week. Well, eventually they came to my office, and the IRS was looking at these returns that this group was preparing, and it turned out that they were making up some numbers and schedules and things on the returns, and it got to be a very ugly matter. So we had to come in and fix it. We had to amend the tax returns, and the client ultimately had to get a home equity mortgage on their home to pay the back taxes, because the IRS was actually looking at every return, just about every return that this group did. And I think eventually they went out of business. I helped my client fix their taxes, and we're still doing the work today. So make sure when you have your taxes done that it could be either an enrolled agent, CPA, attorney, or any competent person that knows what they're doing with their taxes. Make sure you get a copy of your tax return when they're done. Make sure you get always good to get a direct deposit on your refund. It's important to kind of do some due diligence and follow up on some of these things to make sure that you don't get into trouble.
Tom, we're located still in Islam, right, in New Jersey?
Yeah, we're down by Metro Park. I've been here since 1975. I started when I was 5.
So you started when you were 5 years old?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and the phone number is 800-801-1099?
Yep.
Your website? www.ploskonka-cpa.com. Ploskonka, Ploskonka. I have a few more to get through here, so I'd like to get through a couple more of these items that we're talking about here. Besides, the next item would be offshore accounts. They still exist. Just the other day, I read an article about the bank HSBC. It still surfaces every so often, where there was a Swiss branch, and there was a whistleblower that turned in people that were hiding money in this account. And now the IRS has people with foreign bank accounts filling out a special form called the Form 8938. 8938 is the form, Statement of Specified Foreign Financial Assets. So under certain rules and guidelines, if you have money in a foreign bank account, you have to fill out this Form 8938, Statement of Specific Foreign Financial Assets, and list the assets that you have in other banks across the world. So, and the fines are very heavy if it turns out you haven't done that form. What about fake charities like Sandy? How do you check IRS with that?
Well, the IRS, if you go to their website, irs.gov, that's irs.gov, they have a special tab or link that takes you to charities that are recognized charities where you can deduct contributions to those recognized charities. I think recently with Sandy there were a number of fake charities that came up and people were convicted or arrested because they felt they could take advantage of the situation. And it happens all the time. It's not only here, but it could happen anywhere. But you got to be careful when you give money to certain charities. I got a call just the other day from somebody saying, could you give us an ad in your journal, which would lead to giving them a credit card with the expiration dates and the code, the 3-digit code on the back of the card. So I said politely, no, I just can't, I just don't do it that way. So be careful when people are calling you to give them money for these certain charities. Make sure it's legit, because a legit charity can be a deductible item, whereas certain ones that aren't registered would not be a deductible item.
What about, Tom, hiding income with fake documents, people making up their own W-2s or 1099s?
Yeah, every so often you see in the newspaper, that there's some place in the country where someone got together and started getting blank W-2s from a supply house, started typing in information and filing tax returns with these fake W-2s. And by the time it's caught up, the IRS catches up with it, they've got their money and they're gone. But it could lead to tens of thousands of dollars that could be there. And make sure you don't associate yourself with somebody making up these bogus forms. It's really not good.
Give me some background on abusive tax shelters. What's that about?
Yeah, that was. There's less of this today than it used to be. It's one of those things that's like too good to be true. You give me $10,000 and I'll give you a write-off on your tax return of $50,000 or $100,000, 5 to 1, 10 to 1. This was very predominant, I guess, in the 90s, where these promoters were putting these deals together, and people were investing money for write-offs that really were just, if not bogus, they were questionable at best. So there's less of that going around, but there still could be. So be careful if you get someone trying to sell you a bogus or a tax shelter of some kind.
All right, another question from the Dirty Dozen for this year is falsifying income and com credits. So what is EIC, Earned Income Credit, I read about? The
Earned Income Credit, based on your income, there's a table and a chart that you go by to see if you qualify for these Earned Income Credits based on the number of children you have and your level of income. So certain people will kind of work the system, I guess, a little bit to maximize these Earned Income Credits. Not a good idea. New Jersey, I think it was last year, came around and basically said to people claiming these credits, show me your income, show me the credits, all the deductions you've taken on your return to prove that you're entitled to this credit, this extra money. And if you didn't prove that, your refund was held up and possibly you didn't get it at all because you couldn't prove that you had the right credits. Okay, Bert, thank you. So,
the
Milton.
fuel tax credit, how does that work?
The fuel tax credit is basically a credit for off-road vehicles. I mean, primarily it's farm equipment, certain boats, airplanes. They're buying fuel for their equipment to make a profit, and there's a credit associated with this. Years ago, people were taking advantage of this credit extensively, and so it's at the bottom of the list, but definitely it's something that you really have to have your records to show that you're using you're buying fuel for off-road purposes and not for home heating and things like that. And the last item is frivolous arguments. This goes way back to people who were saying it's unconstitutional to pay taxes, and they file tax returns with zeros. I think most of those people are in jail right now, but it just doesn't make sense to kind of go to do this constitutional argument that it's unconstitutional to pay your taxes. It just doesn't work.
Tom, give us where you're located again, your phone number. I'd like people to contact you. And this is tax season, and if they don't have an accountant now, you're the man to go see. So give me your background.
But I will, Milton. I just want to reach out for one more, or to speak about one more topic real quick. There's been a change in the rollover of IRAs, and it's really important to know that the 60-day rollover rule, where you would get a check from your bank and want to take it to your brokerage house back and forth, that the 60-day rollover rule only counts once in 365 days. Okay, if you do a direct transfer from bank to bank or bank to brokerage, it doesn't count. But if you take possession of that check and you roll it over to another brokerage house, it's okay the first time. Within the 365-day rule, if you do it again, you don't get the rollover treatment, you get it to be taxable. So just be careful if you're doing rollovers and you're taking the money, the actual check itself, to do that. We're located down here near Metro Park on Green Street in Island. Like I said, I've been here since 1975. And if you call the station, if there's a question, they'd be glad to forward it to me, or you can call me directly, 1-800-801-1099, okay? And any questions, I'd be glad to help anybody out that has them. But send them, either give me a call, send me an email, be glad to help you out.
Tom, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and we thank you for your knowledge and everything, because this is the time of the year people should start thinking to contact you and get their taxes done.
Thank you, Milton. Bert?
Tom, always good to have you, Tom. Thanks for being on Getting Ahead in Business today. We'll do this again soon, all right?
Stay warm in this very taxing cold weather.
Oh, that's an industry joke for you there. Thank you, Tom. Good to talk to you. Thanks for being on the show today. Well, Milton, once again with Tom Ploskonka, some real good information. That dirty dozen of these tax scams, boy, people have really got to be aware of what's going on around them.
I have to announce Dominic's tomorrow night. It's our 6th annual business meet and greet. They're located at 453 Avenel Street in Avenel, New Jersey. It's a buffet dinner from 5:30 to 7:30. Come, it's $15. They'll have door prizes. It's the 6th annual, and we expect a lot of business people. And I'd like to thank my sponsors at this time.
Sure.
The Golden Tiger Karate and George Road in North Brunswick. Their phone number is 732-246-KICK. And again, 732-246-KICK. Walter Toto, Esquire, Monroe Township, 732-656-7770. And, of course, Tom, our favorite, at 800-801-1099. We always love to have Tom on. We hope to have him back in March. And, of course, the Omega Diner and Cafe in North Brunswick. They're open 24 hours a day. And Sunny Palace, the best Chinese restaurant in all of New Jersey. Funny Mix, Read Adventures. Your child's journey to reading begins here. Everybody needs a plumber, Plumrite, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They're located. You reach them at 732-417-4444. Master Pizza and Italian Kitchen, Livingston, Union, Rockaway, and West Orange. Signs and awnings, Daniel and Chris, 732-558-9255. You need good signs. You're opening a new business. These are the people to contact. If you would like to become a sponsor or a guest, contact me or call me at 732-306-0040. Go to my new beautiful website, gettingaheadinbusiness.com. Nothing's impossible. God bless America.